Greetings, my beautiful lovelies. It's Emmy. How are you? It's great to see you and welcome back. Today I'm going to be making a cookie recipe that is so good that it is immortalized on a tombstone. This recipe and the tombstone is located in Brooklyn, New York, and it's on Naomi Odessa Miller-Dawson's gravestone, and it's for Spritz cookies. And apparently Naomi was a very loving mother who was known for these cookies, and I cannot wait to make them and taste them for myself and have a little bit of Naomi's history right in my own kitchen. So let's go ahead and get started. So let's talk a little bit about what a Spritz cookie is. Now, Spritz is short for the German word spritzen, which means to squirt. Now, this dough is extruded out of a little machine. It looks a lot like a caulking gun, and it's a really great way to make these cookies very quickly and uniformly and neatly. I have an old video I did a few years ago, gosh, probably about 5 years ago, where I took a vintage one that I found from a thrift store and tested out a Spritz cookie recipe. And I also did it with my kids when they were just little tiny ones. I found a Sesame Street version, which was really delightful. We had a lot of fun making Elmo, Big Bird, and I believe Cookie Monster in Spritz cookie form. So in order to make these Spritz cookies, you are going to need a piece of equipment, and that is a cookie extruder, a cookie press. So I did have a vintage one from that video several years ago, but I did a giveaway and I no longer had it. But I knew if I went to a thrift store, I could find another one because I see them all the time. And sure enough, I found one. This one is not a vintage one, but I got it for $6.49, brand stinking new in this box. The brand is Kuhn Rikon. I actually have their can opener, Swiss brand. The brand's not so important. I really want you to see the press. So basically this is like a caulking gun. If you've ever sealed a bathroom or windows or counters, you know what a caulking gun is. And it's basically got this trigger here and a plunger inside that presses the dough through the front. This particular one comes with several dies, so you can make, a croissant shaped one, pumpkin ones around fall, a wreath shaped one for Christmas time, flower. So what makes this tool really great is that you can extrude a bunch of cookie dough at one time. They're going to all be uniform and even, so it's a quick way to make cookies. Also, this cookie dough doesn't require any kind of resting time, so right after you mix it, you can go ahead and use it. In fact, you don't want to chill the dough because it needs to be soft enough that it can be squeezed through this machine. If it's too hard, it's going to require too much effort. So enough background, let's go ahead and start making our dough. So behind me, I have my oven preheating at 350 degrees. So here is our cast of characters. The recipe list is actually quite short, perfect for engraving onto a tombstone for that. And we are first going to mix our butter and sugar. So I've got 2 sticks of room temperature butter. You could also use margarine if you like. And I've got a mixer. First, we're going to cream the butter by itself on low speed. I'm going to periodically scrape down the sides so that we get everything incorporated. Alrighty, lots of noise later. Our butter and sugar is nice and light and fluffy. And to that, we're going to add 1 egg. Bloop. A bloop of vanilla. So I think at this point, I'm just going to mix the rest by hand. Although it might be a little bit stiff, we'll see. I really like this whisk. It's called a Danish whisk, a dough whisk, a bread whisk. It's got great big holes, so if you've got really thick batters, it's really easy to mix in. All right, add our baking powder and a good pinch of salt. I'm going to work in the baking powder and salt. And finally, our flour. And I'm going to do this in a couple batches. See how nicely this whisk works? I love it. All right, the other half. And once it gets really thick like this, we can even switch to a wooden spatula, but I think we'll be all right. Let's use a wooden spoon to get this to form into a dough. So the only moisture in here is that egg and all that lovely butter. Get all those dry bits at the bottom, and slowly but surely, this is forming into a lovely dough. It smells so good, the combination of butter and vanilla. So classic. Now, pretty much have our dough incorporated. I'm gonna go in with my impeccably clean hands, and I'm going to shape these into a couple cylinders, probably 3 cylinders, so they'll fit inside my cookie press. So it may seem a little bit dry as you're mixing it, but just be patient. Look at that, beautiful. Okay, so collecting all the dough off the sides of the bowl, and I'm going to divide this into 3 pieces. Depending on the size of your cookie press, your cylinders might be of different diameters, but it doesn't matter. This isn't for the cookies per se, it's just so it fits inside of my machine. Okay, so let me show you how this works. So the dough goes inside this cylinder. This one happens to be stainless steel. A lot of the ones I've seen are clear. And we just take this portion off. It's a little tight. Okay, locking ring. And here's the plunger. We want to pull that all the way out. So we push this button and you pull this back. And do you see those little teeth? That will ratchet down as we pull this trigger, and it will extrude the dough out. This is also similar to the beef jerky gun that I test. Definitely check that out. Much bigger gun and much longer strands of beef jerky, but using the same caulking gun technology. Alrighty, back to cookies. So here we have our cylinder, and it looks like I need to make this a little bit narrower, and this might be a little big. So into, make more snakes a little skinnier, down the pipe. Oops. Boop, boop, boop. There's gonna be a little bit of air in there. Oh, I actually got that nicely filled. Yo! So next we're going to need a baking tray. This is a 1/4 sheet aluminum baking tray. Resist the urge to line this with parchment paper, a silicone mat, or greasing this at all, because these cookies really need to stick to the pan, and there's plenty of butter in the recipe to release them. If you put a silicone mat or something non-stick here, the cookies will not press onto the pan because it'll be too slippery. The dough won't have anything to stick onto. Next, I'm gonna go for the daisy. I'm gonna go for the daisy disc. So we're gonna place that over our dough, lock it down with this ring. That, and then we're just going to place this here right on top, and then pull the trigger until the dough comes out, and then lift up. It's starting to come out. So like I said, I've not used this one before, so I don't know how many clicks it'll take for it to come out. So 1, 2. Oh, nice. Look at that. Beautiful. Oh my gosh, perfection. So for this particular gun, it's 2 clicks, and then when you lift straight up vertically. If you tilt it, then your cookie will have funny angles and stuff. So isn't that great? Look how perfect. Perfect. Yes. Okay, you can put these pretty close together. So 1, 2. Oh, that one was too fat. So let's just try 1 click and see. Yeah, I take that back. Just 1 click. The initial one took 2 clicks because the chamber wasn't full. Yeah, so fast. Oh, that one's missing a petal. No. Look how you can machine these out. Let's change the die. Ooh, look. Okay, let's try that one. Oh, I don't like it when it's missing its parts. Okay. Oh my gosh, very fun to use and so utterly satisfying. Look how beautifully perfect they are. Go, go, go. So before we bake these, we can decorate them. I've got some of the sparkly sugar. Also got some sprinkles of very rainbowish hues. Look, isn't that cute? Look how pinky and regular sprinkles. And then the traditional sugary stuff. So I'm gonna do this because this is what I remember on those grandma cookies. I think these ones should have that. Those butter cookies, although half the time when I saw one of those tins of Danish cookies, I always knew that it was going to be empty of cookies and have buttons or swing things or never cookies. I got so excited, but oftentimes it happened to me enough times that I knew that there probably wouldn't be a cookie in there. So for the daisy, we can just, should we just put these on top like this? Oh, those are cute. We can just put a little pile in the middle. Okay, this is where I need those really annoying tweezers. Where are those tweezers that I have? Oh yeah. You could also use chopsticks. Let's pretend we're like some gourmet chef, which we're not. And we can arrange those kind of in the middle. So cute. Look how cute already. Cute, 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 cute. Now we're going to pop these into preheated 350-degree oven and bake them 5 to 8 minutes until they just start getting golden around the edges. Don't over bake these. Then we're going to let them rest for a few minutes before we transfer them onto a rack to cool completely before we taste them. So I will be back, lovelies, after I bake up the batch so we can taste the Spritz Gravestone cookies. Alrighty, see you in a little bit. Alrighty, my lovelies, I am back with our finished Spritz cookies, and I have so many cookies. This recipe makes a ton. I would say maybe 6 dozen cookies here. So many cookies. They're a great little size too, about the same size as those little Danish butter cookies that came in those tins. I think it would be super fun to take one of those tins and then make these cookies and get little cupcake holders and then stack it all up and refill them with homemade cookies and gift it. It would be so stinking cute. These are cuter in my opinion with these little rainbow sprinkles, and they smell so great. My whole entire kitchen smells like butter and vanilla. And now for the moment I've been waiting for. How do these taste? Alrighty, to Naomi. Itadakimasu. So good. Delicious buttery flavor. First thing I notice is that buttery sweetness, a bit of vanilla in there, scrumptious. Like the best little sugar cookie you've ever had. Absolutely delicious. The texture is a little bit different than those butter cookies, a little bit different than a shortbread. It's a little bit more like a sugar cookie. We added an egg to the recipe, so there's a slight chewiness to it. There's a slight, I wouldn't say crispness, but a bite to it, and then you get that lovely crunch of the sugar, and then inside is just a nice, chewy, soft interior. Perfect little buttery cookie. Love everything about it, including using the cookie press. That was so simple, so easy. You can crank out a bunch of cookies at one time, just stamping them along. In the end, I think my favorite shape was the daisy shape, kind of 8-pointed daisy. Really, really love that shape. My other favorite shape was this one. This was really fun and easy to extrude. I liked both of these shapes because in terms of decorating, it was really, really simple. I just put a little pinch of sprinkles right in the middle, put them in the oven, we're good. This shape, for example, had a little hole in it. So there's the hole, you can see it. So I had to be a little bit more careful with my sprinkling. I didn't really want them to pool in the middle, even though they did anyways. So I didn't like that that was a little bit more noodly because of that shape. This is another cute shape I did too. A 5-pointed flower. that one was easy to do as well. I tried to test out baking times, and I baked at 400 degrees for 3 to 4 minutes, and the cookie spread a lot more. So in the end, 350 for 8 minutes for my oven was perfect. They don't have any color on the bottoms whatsoever. You want to keep these, whoops. Oh, my cookies are falling apart. Ah, you want to keep these nice and light. Let's try a sprinkly one just because. Delicious. Flavor is so good. 100% recommend using butter if you can. If you have dietary issues and you don't want to use butter, that's totally up to you, but that buttery flavor is so good. A little bit of salt and vanilla in there. Fantastic. Fantastic. Totally worthy of someone as lovely as Naomi's memory. Alrighty, my lovelies. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that one. I hope you learned something. Please share this video with your friends. Follow me on social media, like this video, subscribe, and I shall see you in the next one. Toodaloo, take care, bye! Okay, just one more. Okay, I'm gonna try the flour one. It's so hard to not keep eating more cookies. Cookies!